Jody, what a day we have had.
Well, it's more than
it is Terminator 2.
Yeah, is it?
There are subplots here. There are a cast of characters you wouldn't believe. And the best bit was an hour ago, Kieran had a full intelligence breakdown.
Oh, lovely.
So because he only started 2 days ago, I get to watch what happened to me live with Kieran. And, it's amazingly funny. Simple tasks are impossible. It's so, you're watching and going, you can do it, buddy. You can get your fingers in those gloves. Go on. But tonight, but I'll tell you, what a day. Well, we are having such a great time.
I rudely cut you off because I had to go to I'm a little bit offended that you've just gone straight into talking about yourself without asking me what my pub lunch was like. That I didn't think we were
talking about anything yet.
Oh,
have you pressed record now?
I have pressed record. I literally was like saying. So, okay, right. It was a lovely pub lunch, by the way. So thank you.
Jody,
thank you for asking.
How's things been? How's things been with you?
I don't know. Do you know what? It's a little bit of a downer bit of all this rain, isn't it? I mean, I had to put up an umbrella. I got a little bit of that's the thing. I stepped off the train today. And I got and I sort of stepped semi in a puddle, and I got a little bit of water in my shoe. I mean, it dried off within seconds, but it's a bit annoying, that, isn't it? It's a bit annoying. So I don't know. Is that similar to your situation?
I have a friend who talks about people, and he uses the term "they're 11 a reef," and what he means by that is, if you've done something, they've done it slightly better. So if you've been to Tenerife, they've been to 11 a reef. And okay. And I'm sorry you got your feet wet today.
Oh, you're trying to one-up-mint me. Oh, I see.
No,
okay.
If this is 11 a reef, this is 166th a reef, because Stratford-upon-Avon disappeared today.
I saw some
while
footage.
we were there.
I saw some footage of what seemed to be just a load of live video of a lake. Was that Stratford-upon-Avon?
We watched swans go past the high street. I was looking at it going, oh my God, wherever we go, we are bringing hellfire and pestilence. We turn up to these towns. It's just like the Incredible Hulk show from the 70s. We wander into a town and then it's destroyed and then we leave, with damaged, muddy bathrooms and we're just flooding. Oh, the water. So Stratford-upon-Avon, we had a new theory as well.
Okay.
We think, because this route is in 3 stages, it's 3 books.
Yeah.
Stratford-upon-Avon is the end of book 1, so it's a tri-course. It has 3 segments to it.
Oh, wait a minute.
We think
this is like a
Well,
what's that?
Right.
What's that thing called? You have 3 different disciplines.
Oh, it's what's the one where you shoot, then you ski, and then you have to do a crossword? What's that one called?
That's called David Hellard's Normal Weekend Retreat.
It does sound like the sort of thing you do.
Yeah.
So we think that the Monarchs way has been trying to make us do a triathlon.
Oh,
because
okay.
today, with blind optimism, Kieran and I are down by the riverside at Stratford, and we're trying to stay on the path. And we're doing that optimism thing. So, okay, it's at our knees. That's okay.
What?
We're still good.
We're doing optimism on the Monarchs way.
And then we go, it's okay. It's only up to our thighs. It's fine. That's fine. And then it gets like to my waist. And I'm saying, it's okay. We'll hold the bags above our heads and we'll just keep going. It'll be fine. And then Kieran's like, okay, we may have to swim this bit to get to that path. And then Kieran turned and he looked at me and went, if we swim, it's a triathlon. And we stopped there and then, and we left the water, and we got off the Monarchs way. I messaged John Tennant at the Monarchs way. I said, there's some water here. We're going to do a little dog leg, and join the Monarchs way. We're going to go out to one side across and get up onto, there's a disused railway that leaves the south of Stratford, which is elevated. And we got up on it, and it was like watching an apocalypse movie. We're 12 feet, 15 feet up, walking out of Stratford, and all around us is just the sea. It was mental.
Are you sure? Are you sure he didn't? Are you sure he got it the wrong way round? Didn't he catch a boat from Worcester? And actually, when he got to Shoreham, he got in a car.
It's possible.
Maybe the history's just written it incorrectly. Maybe that's the. So we've jumped quite a way ahead now. We've jumped quite a way ahead.
Oh, Jody,
so let's
we're going to have
back.
to go. Yeah,
let's go back.
Yeah.
What seems like ages, but it's only yesterday.
It has been ages. So Kieran's turned up.
So, yes, that was it. That's where we left. Kieran was about... So you had about... How long did you have? About 8 hours before Kieran turned up.
I had 8 glorious hours on my own going through Birmingham, which I think we talked about when I got to Hales Owen just before you had your pub dinner.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit like Doctor Who. So it's the same show, and it's pretty much the same character, but the face has changed slightly. And so... so the Monarch Lord has regenerated and he's now Kieran. And so for me, it was a little bit of a brain switch, but yeah, Kieran's here. And we had the best greeting ever in a pub. So he waited for me in Fairfield.
Oh, yeah.
He waited for me in Fairfield. And we turned into a pub. And I'd given him a list of things I might need to deal with my very hurty feet.
Yeah.
Last year we talked about the fact that my feet felt blowtorched.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't, it was so painful. And they massively expand and it was just awful. And like intolerably, it was horrible. So this year it's just started to happen again. And, my feet were wet 24 hours a day in some cases of the flooding. And I'm sitting there going, I need to bring the swelling down and I need something to cure the pain or take the discomfort away. So I've sent Kieran a list of potential things we can try. So we go into the pub and I say hello and everyone's looking at us because we look like we're climbing Everest. And he gives me a quick hug and then he says, I got you this stuff. And then he puts out on the table a little tub of Vaseline, a tube of Anusol. What else did you put? Savlon. Yeah, I think condoms was the only thing that wasn't there that just looked diffy. He's got the condoms. So I tried Anusol on my feet.
Isn't it pronounced Anusol?
I don't know. Is it a David Hellard product, by the way?
No. I think it's pronounced Anusol because I think you can't walk into someone and go, can I have an Anusol, please?
Right. Well, anyway, it's hemorrhoid cream.
Yes.
So obviously it reduces swelling and it takes away the pain and itching. So I put it on my feet, and it's like magic. It's magic. My feet are perfect again. Oh, so happy.
I thought you were about to say I'm ready to slip up someone's arse. I thought that was...
What? No. It wasn't those ones. You don't want the bullet-shaped ones. That's a different product. So we're going to repackage
So you've got Anusol on your feet, and I take it then you've got athlete's foot cream on your arse. What's the yin and yang here?
Yes. Well, no, the yin and yang is that after we invented
didn't you used to wear socks around your bits because of chafing? That's a story from you, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
That was me. It was only once, and it was 50 miles, and my balls chafed a lot, and it stopped it. Okay, it stopped it. So explain to me. You sent me some messages, and so I need you to explain something. What's pepperami rage? Right, pepperami rage is so imagine you've got a bag. It's a 25-litre bag, and you've got everything you need to survive for 2 weeks in it. Yeah, which is what we're doing.
Yeah. Now
imagine that. Basically, we've done the MDS thing, so we've got a few things hanging off the side of the bag, but the bag is very tightly packed with stuff. Now, imagine you're Kieran, and you've put your selection of snacks in your bag at random. You want Haribo, but what you want is not what the bag will deliver to you. And so he was getting increasingly angry, going, damn it, I want this thing. And he's rummaging around, you can't find it. And it just angrier and angrier and angrier. And he pulled out a pepperami and he sort of went, fuck you, bag, I'll have pepperami then, but I don't want it. he was genuinely angry at a bag, like full Basil Fawlty. It was great. So I just sort of jotted down the words pepperami rage. He was basically that angry. Oh, it was so good.
I feel like you enjoyed it. So wait a minute. It feels like you enjoyed it a bit more because, and would you say that I don't know if you are, but I'm just making this assumption. Is it because you're able to get like some proper sleep and stuff, and you can actually you're being able to stay in place and things like that? That's making the difference, is it?
We tonight, we're just going to jump about talking. Tonight we have absolutely hit the nail on the head for why we're having such an amazing time. And it's the nature of what we're doing. So if you run any race anywhere that has checkpoints and it has a sterile environment where runners run on a route, they go to an aid station in the middle of nowhere, you've got your own drop bags, you do your own thing. You have this sterile environment, the sterile race. You don't give anything back to the local community at all. You're not spending your money there. And you're not really meeting anyone. You're just doing a race.
Yeah.
When you're self-reliant, like Kieran and I currently are, you're having to interact with the locals.
Yeah.
And it has been brilliant.
Right.
The way we've been treated, we've had pubs stay open just for us, just so that they could let us sleep by the fire for an hour and dry our clothes out. We've had a pub tonight we walked into this Cotswolds pub and it was full. And we walked in, this guy just sort of shouted, bloody hell, some dude's climbing Everest, look. So I sort of walk in and I look like I've been in the film Vertical Summit because I've just come off the windiest hill on earth. I pull the hood down and they're like, bloody hell, mate, what have you been up to? And I'm like, oh, we're on a walk. And they're like, well, where are you going? We're like, Brighton. and then the guy leant forward and he went, what? And I said, oh, we're doing a 635-mile walk. And he went, I'm buying him a pint. And then the whole pub went mental. And so I guess what I'm getting at is when you don't have checkpoints, when you are forced, you go to the town centre and you go to the newsagent to buy some food and you pop into the pharmacy to top up on your caffeine bullets. It's so much fun.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? You're absolutely right there. Like, normally those checkpoints aren't chosen because they're the best place for checkpoints. They're chosen because, one, it's the cheapest place to have a checkpoint because people charge ridiculous things.
Park in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it has to be easily accessible.
To the local community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had this discussion with John from the Monarchs Association. He came out to see us today, and we might talk about that in a bit. But he was saying, when he contacts Gloucester City Council and says, this stile here is broken, can you mend it? And they say, we haven't really got the money. And he says, when these stiles are in good condition and people come through these paths, they spend money.
Yeah.
And, I've actually said to John, I'm going to do an email and break down what I've spent in the last year doing Monarchs Way walks and recce's, and it's thousands. And I've spent it in B&Bs and newsagents and pubs, and you're interacting with these communities.
Yeah.
And it's been so funny. And, today's culminated in, you've probably seen on the Facebook group, Tom Walker's been out.
Yes.
From the BBR group.
Yes.
He's been out for 13 miles, leaving rude messages on every single stile.
That's amazing.
With my name on it.
That's amazing.
The first one I found, I came around the corner and Kieran and I are climbing this steep hill, like breathing deeply. And I get to the top and I'm like, there's a note on there. And I read it and I'm like, bastard. And it just sort of says, that was steep, wasn't it? There's another one coming up soon. And you're like, oh. And he's left notes for a half marathon distance on every stile through the Cotswolds that we were going through.
That's amazing.
Oh,
That is just that. What a
so
legend!
funny.
That is so brilliant.
And then, and he's obviously trying to get one back on me because we had a bet, and the prize was a case of BrewDog, and I posted him alcohol-free BrewDog. So he obviously was very pleased with himself when he got his own back. And then the Monarchs gods delivered just the most amazing thing ever, which is we go into this pub where they think we're from Everest, and I'm charging up a phone and sitting having dinner, and Tom Walker's dad's there. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh, this
so
is
over I go, I'm like, come here, tell me about Tom. And off he goes. I'm like, I need all the dirt. I need it all. I need to know everything you know about him that's bad. I need leverage, and I will buy you a drink for it. So we sat for 10 minutes and just laughed and talked about him, and I got him to do a fuck you buddy on video. Which
I saw it. It was impressive. It was great.
So I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens. You know, we've met in the pub tonight. We've met a guy called Andy, he owns the Donington Brewery.
Oh yeah.
I work there. It's 17 pubs in the area, and they do a thing called the Donny Ring, which is they do what we do. They go around in a giant ring and do all 17 pubs.
17 pubs. That's impressive. Yeah.
I know. And I'm standing there going, and what's the distance between this? And he's like, it's 100 kilometres. It's 60 miles. I'm like, you guys are more epic than do-badders. And then he goes, yeah, we have to get 2 minibuses. And I go, hang on. You're doing it the clever way. You just go around in a minibus to someone driving you.
Oh.
He's like, well, yeah, obviously. No, who would walk it? We're like, wow, you guys are way cleverer than we are.
You've just invented a new ultra, the Donington Ultra.
Yeah. I looked at Kieran and said, this is Jody's 100-miler. This is the bad boy running Centurion. 17 pubs in the Cotswolds. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
We've just been past one of them now. So I guess, what's my point? We're having a blast.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We are laughing a lot. We are meeting amazing people. My phone is now ringing with all sorts of weirdness. One guy's just phoned me a minute ago to tell me I'm off course. I don't even know who he is. I don't even know why he's got my number. I don't really care. It's just nice that people are watching. John Tennant from the Monarchs Way Association says there's a woman in Germany who stayed up until 4 a.m. last night because she was worried about us.
Oh,
her name's Claudia. And you know, so that happened. And then earlier today, John Tennant, who's the chairman of the Monarchs Way Association, he came out to walk with us for a couple of hours. And
wait a minute. Are you getting sponsored every time you say John Tennant, chairman of the Monarchs Way Association?
I'm not. No.
You've said you're
it's
mental.
Good for Google SEO though. Because phones listen to what you say now. When anyone listens to this as a thing, obviously he'll get paid 3 pence on by Google.
So why do you keep saying his name and his title?
Sorry.
No. It's nothing wrong with it. I just obviously you're very enamoured with him. I wondered whether there was some SEO reasoning behind it.
Well, obviously there's always SEO. You know, John's very hot on his kind of Google AdSense and his analytics.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, right? John meets us at Hidcot House, and you know he's expecting to see 2 epic running guys. He comes around the corner. There's a picnic table. We've got flapjack, 2 cups of tea each. You know, it's just the usual setup. We're like, sorry, John. It's basically a giant eating session being interrupted by some annoying walks between towns.
It's a true ultra.
So we stuff our faces. It's a true ultra. We're eating like 6-year-olds at a birthday party, and so John's with us, and like we're walking along, and we cross this road. And I'm worried about traffic because I've got this kind of protect the president kind of thing. Because we're like, if we get hit by a car here, the Monarchs Way is doomed. This guy has an encyclopedic knowledge of this trail. He goes out. We've just been talking to him. He goes out. He might drive like 100 miles to go deal with an issue with the trail, like a bit of it's blocked or farmer's done X or Y, and then drive on again somewhere else for 80 miles to go and do an issue with it there. And then, I mean, it's just bonkers. He just messaged me saying, I'm in Somerset in 2 days' time. I think you will be too. Maybe I'll come see you again then. I mean, imagine being a gardener, but your garden is the size of the Midlands, the South. I mean, it's bonkers, you know. But he was lovely, and we laughed our asses off and chatted with him for a couple of hours, and he's very enamoured with what we're doing because it obviously raises a huge amount of awareness.
Absolutely.
And I know people say that, but again, I've got a mouthful of flapjack somewhere, and the phone rings, and it's the BBC on the phone saying, can we do an interview with you on Thursday? And I'm like, oh, God, I've got 2 days to try and practice not swearing for 5 minutes. You know, it's probably going to be the toughest part of this entire thing. So it's just something crazy's happening a lot of the time, and we're meeting so many lovely, friendly people who do stuff.
I saw. So people have obviously been like very generous and very, you know, and it's. So I saw you having a nap in a pub. Was that a pub on a sofa?
Yeah, the pub is called the Park Gate Inn. Yeah. And there was a rainstorm going on, and we got really wet. And we said, listen, we'll just go into this pub here. It might not even be open because it's Easter Monday. And we walk in and say, hey, are you doing food? And they're like, no, you know, we're not serving food tonight. And we're like, oh. And they said, why don't you just, you know, order a takeaway, get it delivered here? You know, have a cup of tea. You guys look wet. And they sort of took us in. There was only 2 people in there. And they, you know, we hung our clothes up around the fire. And they said, oh, what are you doing? And we said, we've got to walk on through the night. And they said, well, you know, do you want to just sleep here for the night? They said, well, we haven't really got the time. But I sort of said, well, could we possibly sleep for an hour? And they're like, yeah. So they put the fire on in another room and set up 2 couches for us and, you know, slept in the pub.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. It's just, this is what it's been like. You know, every pub we've walked into, people are nice. When you're not in London or Surrey, everyone's really nice. In Surrey, if you walked into a pub or muddy, they just scream at you, and then the security guard would walk you out. I'm
not sure. I think generally, I think generally most people would be pretty good to you. Most pubs would be pretty good to you.
No, I think I've been a little bit unfair, but we've had all sorts of adventures. I've coined a new phrase today, which I'm quite amused about, which is Pandora's socks. So the concept of Pandora's socks are: you've been walking through floods, the water is cold, you don't know whether your waterproof socks have failed or not. If they have, it's going to be all of the bad times in there. So eventually you pull over, sit down and say, it's time to look at my feet, maybe tout my feet. And at that point you unleash Pandora's socks and pull them off and see what's waiting beneath. And it can be terrifying.
So how are you? So how are your feet then? Surely they are absolutely in pieces.
They're all right.
Are they?
No, they're good because I'm using the anisole or anusole or whatever we're supposed to pronounce it. So this anusole, because Kieran and I have gone, well, hang on a second, we can buy anusole for £3, right? We can sell it to runners for 15 quid.
Yes.
Because, and we thought, what we need is an unambiguous name that doesn't sound like a sex toy, but does sound like you're going to destroy the opposition. So we thought we might call it Trounce. What do you think? Is that a good name?
That's a great name.
Trounce.
It's a great name. Yeah. But apparently it doesn't test well internationally. That's the issue. Oh, what's happened?
We're on a main road, so we've got to pretend we're normal. People look at you on a main road like, is your car broken down? Why are you out here? What's wrong? So Kieran just wanted to check. We're just coming out of Stow on the Wold.
Oh, are you? Stow on the Wold, famous in Blackadder.
Is it?
I'm sure Stow on the Wold was one in the election episode, wasn't it?
That does sound about right.
Yeah.
That does sound about right.
You had this wonderful picture of you and Kieran enjoying your time. Was that in a Premier Inn?
Yeah. We had a crisis, and we were basically everything went a bit wrong with regards to timings and where we were, and it meant because it was Easter Monday, none of the pubs were open, nowhere was open for food, and everything was getting later and later, and we just weren't getting fed, we weren't getting anything.
Yeah.
And we got to a place called Smitterfield, just north of Stratford, and they weren't serving food. And it's now, 9 o'clock, 9:30, and we weren't looking at many decent places to sleep. We didn't look like we had anywhere with any decent option because we were about to descend into Atlantis. So we probably were very, very tired. Sorry, that's a peaceful, beautiful, tranquil lorry going through the Cotswolds. We worked very hard with a combined IQ of about 22 to come up with a solution. And we went, there's a Premier Inn in the middle of Stratford. What are we doing? Let's go there and have a decent night's sleep. And it was amazing. So I went online on the phone, booked it on the phone. We walked ourselves down and in. By the time we got there, it was about midnight. We'd been walking for an incredible amount of time.
Yeah.
And we were both really frazzled, me more than Kieran. And I got really tired and messy. And we arrived at this Premier Inn. We buzzed the front door and no one's answering. So we're getting a bit jittery. Eventually they buzz us in. They go through the incredibly long, protracted process of checking you in, despite the fact that you've given them all the information online, including the colour of your front door.
Yeah.
And then she goes, right, your room 203, all you got to do is use these two cards. In my stupidity, Kieran grabs both cards. Now, you would think that wouldn't be a problem, given that we're stood next to each other and we're both now walking to room 203 together next to each other. The next thing I remember is I'm in a lift on my own. Kieran's gone, and I don't know where I am. So I ride the lift back up to reception, and I walk back down the corridor. But because I don't have a key and Kieran has both, I can't get back out to reception. So I'm stuck in this corridor, and I'm really tired, and I'm meters away from a bed, and I'm doomed. And so I've lost Kieran in a hotel.
So what happened?
We've navigated. We don't know. Neither Kieran nor I can understand it. But he said 1 minute I was there, directly in front of him, and the next minute he was stood in a corridor. He didn't remember what happened. We both simultaneously blacked out. and that was it. So that was bad. And then because the last takeaway was shutting at 12, Kieran phoned a takeaway company. And so we just had a shower each and climbed into. We booked a twin room, 2-bed room. Yeah. And of course we go in the room and it's one double bed, and neither of us were so tired. We're like, I don't care. So we get in the double bed and the pizza arrives, and we sat in a double bed. Okay, I got a towel on, and I sat in a double bed with Kieran, eating pizza in bed, and I lean across to him and go, "You're the best pacer in the world." No one else I know lets me eat pizza in bed. and then I spilled pizza juice all over my bed. And Kieran said, "That's not what." Who do you know that's been out like as a runner or whatever with a pacer who's pizza in bed with them? Oh, it was glorious. So we took a little selfie because it was just one of those moments, wasn't it?
Oh, so you're doing pretty well. So you finished the first book.
Book one's done.
Did you get past book one the first time? Are you further on than you were, or where?
No. Well, we talked about this. We've done maths since
have you?
we last spoke.
Okay.
Yeah. We've done some Vorder maths. It might be just there, Kay. It's on the other side of the road, isn't it? Sorry, we're just looking for a turn. So we've done some order maths, and tomorrow, about lunchtime, we're going to pass the point that I was removed from the course.
Oh, okay.
Which was...
There's a little blue plaque there now.
Tetbury. There isn't. No, there's nothing. No one cares. And but we've done a order maths, and we did an interview that was called Day 6.
Yeah.
That was the night before I got pulled off. So I would have been pulled off in the early morning, about 6 a.m. of Day 7.
Pulled off? Were you pulled off? Were you pulled off by Lindley?
All right, let's say tugged, so that it's not ambiguous. Okay. So I got tugged on the morning of Day 7.
Reluctantly tugged.
We're going. All right, let's say I was stroked off the course then, so that it's not ambiguous, okay? So I got hand jobbed off the course on the morning of Day 7, and we're going to pass it on the lunchtime of Day 6.
Oh. So
we are 18 hours in front of where I was on the race.
How is that possible? So what the hell happened last time? Because the conditions are significantly worse. You're getting a lot more sleep, aren't you? A lot more time.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's happening. We're moving in rhythm to what suits us.
Yeah.
We're not chasing some checkpoint time that's not relevant to the terrain.
Yeah.
We're not being forced to make a high-speed burn for somewhere when actually what we really need to do is have... And as a result, when we're forced to dry clothes and go in a pub, you might see the time as wasted time sat in a pub drying your clothes off and recharging your phones and stuff. But the reality is you're taking an enforced break.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit like the Thames Path 100 versus the South Downs Way 100. People would think that the flattest 100 on the Centurions would be the easiest. And yet it has very high dropout rate because there's no hills, so people never walk and take a break. They just go flat out.
You make the most convincing case for sitting in a pub.
For doing what?
For sitting in a pub as on a race. That's. I mean, I agree with it, but it sounds like you've rationalised it. And why not?
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, the bottom line is any argument that ends in "it's good to be in a pub" is clearly a sensible, well thought through argument.
Because you're appealing to the right audience. To be honest, I mean, if it didn't end up in a pub, we might as well just forget about this altogether.
Oh wow, there's a lot of cars here, Kieran. Is this a dogging spot?
When in Rome,
I can't tell because the windows are steamed up. We're just going to go straight through here, dude. Really quick right now. Well, let me put it this way: when you go through the towns and cities of the UK, are they littered with pubs, or are they littered with a couple of people with a table laid out with some jam rings and some crisps?
It's only
peanut
natural.
Butter.
It's only this. The thing
peanut
is,
butter pita wraps.
The thing is, I'm telling you this though. This is more historically accurate. Compared with the other way.
We are throwing ourselves at the mercy of the locals.
And I know that. I know it's
historically
accurate.
More historically
because
accurate.
There's no way that Charles II would have ended up having, what's it called, jam rings in a car park because cars weren't invented then. So that is historical fact.
So again, we're historically correct.
Historically correct, yeah.
So... It's been great. I think I made some other notes a million years ago about some of the other exciting things that happened. I'm trying to rack my brains because it all merges into one giant set of bonkers. But
you mentioned something about oversleeping.
Yeah. Again, now let's go back to the fact that Kieran is without a doubt the greatest pacer in the world. Okay, so at the end of my race stage, he's gone, here's a nice bed, have a shower, and then I've got pizza for you in bed. Forget the eat a cheese sandwich. Forget someone shouting at you for 3 hours to eat a cheese sandwich in Reading on a towpath, right? Yeah. We're talking fluffy bed. Here's a fluffy bed, mate. Don't worry about getting onto the Cotswolds. Have a bed. Have some pizza. Let me turn the lights down for you. Why don't you have a sleepy? So we were talking about, well, what time should we get up? You know, and I thought, well, we'll do the big breakfast thing. because it'd be stupid not to. And so we said, well, we'll set the alarm at 5:30, and the alarm will go off at 5:30, and then we'll pack all our stuff, 6 a.m. exactly. That's the moment breakfast starts. Smash breakfast, out the door at 6:30 like heroes. So we're like, that's the plan, good night. So, you know, we kissed each other good night. What was the phrase you used, kid? Oh, kid sat in bed and went, see, everything's ended in a happy ending. So out go the lights, and the alarm goes off at 5:30, and we're both so tired we sleep straight through it. We sleep through a mobile phone beeping for an hour and 15 minutes. Because it's so tired and comfy, and you know there's pizza all around my face, and I basically wake up like, what's going on? I've got pizza on my face, my phone's beeping, I'm in a bed, nothing's making any sense, and then what's greatest pacer looks at me and goes, oh damn it man, we've overslept. Do you know what we did? Most people would panic and go, shit, we're going to be an hour and a half on schedule. We high-fived.
What?
We high-fived. We were so pleased with ourselves. We had an extra hour and 15 minutes sleep, which we clearly needed.
Well, that's good. So you're listening to your body. That's good.
Yeah. And so we left an hour late today on our schedule, and we've had the whole day. I haven't felt nauseous. I haven't walked along like a zombie. We felt brilliant. So again, it comes back to the fact that Kieran is without a doubt the world's greatest pacer. What would happen if you took him out of sync?
Yeah, and it's true for a lot of it, isn't it? It's about, you know, actually recovery is the big thing. If you can't get sleep in between these things, you can't get dry. That is the killer. Yeah. It's not the terrain itself. I mean, you're running. Well, I say running. You're moving in much more difficult conditions last time. Which you know, and there's most people if they're going to be sleeping, you know, in checkpoints and stuff, like if they were doing the ultra, will be giving up after a couple of days because there's just no way you can get warm enough, no way you're going to recover, you know, everything else. No. So it goes to show like the massive power of just that recovery and the difference of, you know, being able to actually get a proper rest. And like you say, your body knows, your body like listens to it, and like getting an extra hour's sleep for you not to have to power through and feel terrible all day. It's just going to make a massive difference. Yeah, you know, and we're sort of saying now when we go to bed now, or even if we're doing a little sleep, we may not set any alarms now. Yeah. Because we'll damn well wake up when we damn well need to. And it's a 2.5 week adventure. So who the hell cares if we oversleep by 3 hours? I mean, if this was a 100-miler, it's like missing a checkpoint by 17 seconds. Who cares? I'll make it up, you know, in the next 4 days, blimey. So, the problem here, obviously, with Kieran is if he comes out and paces someone a Centurion, James Elson's going to have a fit when he takes the bed out at checkpoint 4. He's going to go mental. It's one of those inflatable, what's it called? Those powered inflatable. I can't remember what they're called. Inflatable bed. What the hell? We go to the compulsory test, and Kieran's like, "Okay, now these are your pajamas. I couldn't get blue, so I've got your brown ones, but I did get you the hot water bottle. Listen, it's a 28-hour cut-off. Forget this sub-24 shit. Come here." Have a little snoozy, here's some pizza, and I'll wake you up, I promise, in an hour. It's amazing. So, yeah, so that's been a thing. So, yeah, we slept in a hotel. It was brilliant. Again, the bathroom looked like a mud crime scene. It looked really bad. It's possible, and I'm sure Premier Inns have seen everything, but it's possible there's going to be an additional deduction from my credit card because they're going to go in there and go, what have they been doing in here? The dirty bastards. The dirty bastards. What is this all up the walls?
Yeah, in the room, yeah. So what else did I write down? Because in a moment of clarity, I wrote down.
You mentioned something about pilots. I don't know what that's related. Pilots and co-pilots.
Oh yes,
pilots.
Well, it's two stories in one.
Okay.
Because there's one guy we haven't spoken about yet.
You haven't personified your genitalia, have you?
No.
Okay.
So everybody has their spirit animal. Some people have a dolphin or a butterfly or a weasel or a stoat. But my spirit animal is Lee Fuller.
Okay.
So when you're having tough times, you imagine your spirit animal galloping along beside you, keeping you safe. And the nice thing is that I'm Lee Fuller's spirit animal. So we're very compatible. And so we were having a bit of a situation, and it arose from the fact that all airlines, for safety reasons, insist that the pilot and the co-pilot have a different meal in the cockpit. Okay? So that way, if there's any food poisoning or anything iffy in one of the meals, no one dies. Because, the pilot can crap his pants in the chair, but the co-pilot can still, drink his coffee and let the autopilot work its magic. So Kieran and I had a curry, and already it felt like a great idea at the time. but in retrospect, the next day, Kieran felt a little bit unwell, and it got worse, and then very bad, and then he got a situation in a toilet was it like a nursery place, like where they sell flowers, Kieran?
I'm so glad you said it's that type of nursery.
Yeah. Basically, he said, I'm just going to go to the toilet. I said, okay. And I stood there, and 40 minutes later, I was like, damn it, he's gone home. He's abandoned me. He's
gone out the window.
He's turned his phone off. He's fucking got in a taxi. He's gone home, right? I'm like the kid that's been abandoned in the shopping mall on purpose, right? I'm like, he's left me. I don't believe it. And out of the blue is a car. And it's ambling up the lane, and you're like, what's going on here? And it slows down, and the window winds down, and it looks like they're about to say hello. And the window winds down, and out of the window comes a McDonald's cup of coffee held by Lee Fuller in a car.
You are kidding.
And I'm like, hello? And he goes, yeah, my mate is just here, and it's on the Monarchs way, and I said I'd come and see you, and I've got you a egg, McMuffin. And I'm like, I love my spirit animal. So suddenly Lee Fuller's with us, and he stayed with us all the way to Ulster. And really, what was for Kieran a very rocky road, whilst he lost a stone in body weight in 7 miles. And I shouldn't laugh, but it was very, very funny. And so, we had Lee Fuller with us. It was brilliant. And, everyone that knows Lee Fuller knows that he just brings good things to anything he turns up to. So we had Lee Fuller see us all the way through. And then, just like any really good play day, his mum came to pick him up at the end. Which is amazing. Which only makes me wonder more that actually Lee Fuller's 17 years old.
You think he is? He's 17 and he's just tricked everyone into thinking like he's much older. He's just like the pizza guy. The pizza guy who's playing.
He is Tom Hanks in Big. He's Tom Hanks in Big. I bet he has a trampoline in his bedroom.
Who doesn't?
Well, exactly. So one of the other highlights we've had was my spirit animal turning up during a period, shall we say, of intestinal turmoil. So, top tip, everybody, maybe a takeaway curry during a rather long event is not the best idea.
That's amazing.
Right, but if you are, go chicken balti, not beef. So thankfully, standard airline rules saved us because the pilot and co-pilot insisted on having different meals.
So okay. So it sounds like you're motoring along, if that could ever be described in terms of the progress that you ever make or something. So
We are.
So all right. So you're going to pass the point of the new fastest known time for Lee on the Monarchs way. So what does tomorrow and the next day hold for you then?
Tomorrow, what day is it tomorrow? Is it Thursday?
It is. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday tomorrow. So tomorrow, when do we get to Bristol, Kieran? Thursday. So where are we going to be tomorrow night? Oh, we don't know. Tomorrow night we think we're going to be around Chipping Sodbury.
Okay.
So we're going to be just coming out of the Cotswolds. By Friday we're going to be in Bristol. We've got a little bit of a plan for Bristol that's going to involve some jiggery pokery. Kieran's concerned he may just completely detonate because, he doesn't do ultras or anything. So he's just eased himself in by doing 100 miles in 2 days.
It's a good way. It's a good way of training for it, to be honest. Just to wing it and
Wick. We're going to be in Wick. Here's quite a good comic aside, actually. A certain person on Facebook who was questioning our ability to do this, and rightly so, because anyone that tries to do something like this is clearly an idiot. They were questioning this online, and they took the time out to look up race times for Kieran and Jason, and they posted Kieran's race to the King's time, which is his first ever ultra. And they said, look at this fucking terrible time. It took him like 15 and a half hours or something to do a 50 miler. Right. The reason it took him 15 and a half hours on his first ever 50 miler is I promised to pace him, and during 15 minutes in 15 miles into the race during torrential rain, I got the worst flu ever. But being me, decided to stay on the ultra. And so I was doing paracetamol, I had the shivers, I was in a shocking state, but absolutely determined to quote unquote not ruin his race. So I stayed with him and he carried me round. So poor old Kieran is being vilified on Facebook for being shit at ultras, when actually he carried me round during that race. But the thing that's utterly beautiful about that race was it doesn't go against me, because I ran that race as David Hillard. David Hillard has a 15 hour 35 for a 50 miler on Race to the Kings. So that's why they couldn't find my race time for that race. I don't know if I ever told you, when we were running Race to the Kings, a guy ran up next to me and he had an MDS bag on. And I was like, oh, here they are, Brad, super shiny MDS bags. So I was like, oh, a shiny MDS bag. You doing the MDS this year? He's like, yeah, I'm so excited. He said, I signed up for this race. He said, because I was going through the list of the people that were in it, and I saw David Hellard was running it. And he was fastest Brit at the MDS, so I thought I'd run to come and meet him. And I'm running along with him going, oh, dear God, how do I break it to him? No, I'm David Hellard. So I went to him, right, listen, mate, I've got some bad news for you. He's like, what? I'm David Hellard. And he went, no way. I was like, well, I am and I'm not. I'm David Hillard for this race, but I'm not David Hillard. And here's this poor guy's face. I mean, he'd literally come to do a 50 miler to me, David. I mean, there's so many things wrong with that sentence, but in particular, I feel bad. So, yeah, so that was a little aside. But we've covered everything. There can't possibly be anything more we could talk about.
Oh, that's brilliant. So we're in brand new territory then. There can be a whole new set of stories and things. So repeat that again. So if do-badders want to meet you...
watch the tracker. Make sure you refresh the page once every week or so you see the dot move slightly. And then you'll know which county I'm in.
Is the live tracking on the whole time? So do you have to charge it or anything with batteries? I don't really understand.
I'm charging it up as we go every couple of days. It's got a pretty decent battery life, but I'm charging up as we go. We're possibly, because Kieran he's vastly inexperienced, whereas I'm only inexperienced. So we're very aware of how vastly inexperienced Kieran is versus I'm just inexperienced. What we've decided is likely to happen is in Bristol, Kieran is going to bow out and have a day off. He'll have done 150 miles. I think he's kind of earned it. So he's going to have a day off and just chill out and eat pizza in bed. And probably, to be honest, having done 3 days in New Solid, just scream into a pillow for 2 hours. maybe have therapy or phone someone and just speak to them and go, I just need to talk. But he's then going to probably hightail it down to Yeovilton or that kind of area, and then pick me up again sort of a day and a half later, with him sort of rested, refreshed, and feeling a little bit better. And in the meantime, I've got another friend of mine called Gaz who may come and meet me in Bristol. So, you know, I might have Gaz come with me for basically a day instead. And it just gives me more cover. It makes it safer for me having someone with me all the time, you know, and everything's better when there's two of you fucking up, laughing at each other rather than one. So that's the plan. We were laughing about it, saying, well, we've got 2 trackers because this guy kindly donated 2 live trackers to us and set up the website for us and everything. This guy Richard. Yeah. So the ultra running community Facebook group full of people that were horrible also has some lovely, lovely, lovely people on there. And some of them I think were so appalled at the amount of Lee bashing going on. One of them, you know, organised 2 live trackers, set up the website for us and everything. So we've got 2. So we were worried that the ultra community would accuse Kieran of cheating as a pacer. So we're going to set up a separate website, put a tracker on Kieran while he's resting so they can keep an eye on him as well as me, because obviously that's got to be in someone's rules somewhere. We're going to set up a tracker as well on this guy Gaz, you know, maybe for 2 days before he comes over so they can check what his baseline cadence and heart rate is. You know, because how do we know Gaz is not cheating next to me? We're worried that by the time I get to kind of Salisbury, there might be about 60 or 70 people with trackers on them.
In various stages. People you're going to have to drug test anyone that offers you a pizza, or and have to DNA test pub owners who you know, take samples of everywhere that you every drink that you have.
If I got drug tested now, I would get told I had type 2 diabetes for sure. But my cholesterol levels are at a point where I'm technically dead. And, you know, I've probably got cortisone levels equivalent to a pig that's about to be slaughtered. So, you know, it's probably not a good idea to test me right now because I suspect I'm not quite at my normal. But, that's the plan. So the plan for the next couple of days is get out of the Cotswolds, get to Bristol, south down through to the Mendips. Then we get into Dorset and Devon, which is where, sadly, Alan and Chris dropped for the Ultra. And it is awful down there. The terrain is horrendous. The nav is difficult. You know, we talked to John, who I can't endorse because of Google reasons, and you know, John agrees that it's the toughest bit. And
here we go. Here we go. Oh, here we are. We're hyping it up already. I like it.
This is the MDS long day. It's the MDS long day coming up. Dorset and Devon's going to be the MDS long day. And it's the end of book 2. So that's really where we're at. But that's it, really. I mean, I feel all right. I might pull this off. You know that weird movie?
You feel? Oh, wait a minute. This is a big error, isn't it? If what's that old saying about an ultra? If at any point on an ultra you're feeling okay, don't worry, it'll pass. Yeah, that's it.
What we've done here is I've been driving along in the rain. Everything's been okay.
You've been driving along in the rain. Oh, there's a slip.
I'm giving an analogy. It's an analogy. Imagine driving along in the rain. You lose control of the car. You spin across 3 or 4 lanes of traffic. You're convinced you're dead. And then suddenly the car just accidentally goes in the right direction and you're all right. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. You know, I might not die.
Okay, well that's good. That's a great way to end it. I'm a little bit disappointed that you're not in pain or on the verge of tears or anything else like that. But let's give that a few hours.
We can do that.
We can do that. We can do that.
Yes, we can do. Hey, I've got new injuries and new things. Actually, the thing that hurts the most on me is still my knuckle, which I banged on my back. My only injury was before the race, and I hurt my knuckle on my back, which is wrong. Other than that, we've got the little fundraising page, which I'm not going to promote because of Google reasons, but we were trying to raise £1,000 for the association, and it's already up to 535, which is amazing. And in fact, we had a bit of a chat with John, who we can't talk about for Google SEO reasons, and we were just discussing what they might do with the money, and it's fascinating to see, you know, such silly little things like if we just install one style here, people can get and use this section again and all that kind of stuff. So he'll sit and think long and hard about where the money gets best spent. And in fact, he's asked me for a top 10 shit list, which is awesome. So he's basically said, I want you to pick the 10 places that made you the most angry. And of course, for me, it'll be, right, well, these 10 places, I want a McDonald's. We need to lobby McDonald's to open McDonald's here. Because if McDonald's open, everyone comes. If you want people to use the trail, put a McDonald's on it.
The Monarchs are sponsored by McDonald's. That's ultimately what you want.
Yeah, why not? It's about time we had the Kellogg's Pop-Tarts South Downs Way, isn't it?
I don't think there'd be many people that would disagree with something like that.
The Better Wear Catalogue North Downs Way. It's amazing. Who would sponsor the Downs Link, do you think?
Oh, the Downs Link. That is
Monkey tennis. Monkey tennis would do it, wouldn't it? It's not
so
original.
Down,
no one really cares.
You're so down on the Downs
Nothing
Link.
happens on it. Yeah. So anyway, So it's been great fun. Loads of people interacting, loads of people messaging, and I mean loads. People phoning me up, not just do-badders with abuse, but real human beings who are actually nice. And even people phoning when they're worried I'm off track, which is amazing. But it's just because the pink line that's on there at the moment is obviously the best guest line at the moment before we actually have some decent data. So yeah, that's it. It's been a mad 48 hours.
Oh,
it'll be good to talk to you again. Maybe in a year or so we can catch up on how I've been getting on. But I think no, that's it. I'm not going to say any more. Well, we need a cliffhanger, really, though, don't we?
Yeah. Where is Kieran gone?
He's still here. Yeah.
No, you're supposed to lie.
Oh no, hang on.
Where's Kieran gone?
No, he's just here.
No. Is it likely Kieran might die in the next 24 hours?
He won't, though. He'll just go home. He's not stupid. He'll just go, I'm not having any fun anymore. The laugh's on, but, the spark's not there. It's not me, it's you. And he'll just go. He'll just leave. Bless him. So, yeah, that's it. So, let's talk in a week or two. See how we're getting on.
You see when you're in Bristol? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, he's fucking a week or two when I'm in Bristol. We can, we'll be halfway then. So, that's...
Is Bristol halfway?
Is that good? Yeah.
Jesus.
I know. There's got to be some kind of joke about being in between all the in-betweeners, isn't there?
Yeah. All right, then,
anyway.
Good to speak to you.
All right.
Good to hear you in good spirits. Hey. Give my love to Kieran.
Yeah, we're all right. Don't worry about us. We're fine. We've got big jackets and that's it, really.
All right, then, man. See you later.
All right. See you soon. Bye.